Hello, friends. It's Jim Blake at Unity Village. I'm so honored to be asked to pay tribute. I think what I remember most is her kindness. She seemed to exude kindness in every interaction that I ever saw. Second, and most moving for me personally, is I would see her occasionally at convention and we'd have coffee. But in between times, she would call me just to encourage me, or share how thrilled she was with something that Unity was doing, or affirm for me that I was the right person for this role as CEO, especially when it was new. She never asked me for anything. She simply offered support in conversation or the blessing of a voicemail. She was like my own personal angel, showing up to remind me that I was okay and that Unity was doing good things in the world. I also admired her success as a minister. She seemed to have a gift for growing churches, assembling great teams, and delivering powerful and uplifting Sunday services. And of course, the music always rocked the house. And her talks were so eloquent and inspiring. She was a star on the platform. But what I'll remember most is the light she was when it was just one-on-one. I am forever grateful for her kindness, for her support, and for the sheer gift she was to our movement and this planet. We bless you and we thank you, Reverend Mary. You will be truly missed.
I love the saying that we make a living with what we get and we build a life with what we give. That one sentence, we make a living with what we give, clearly defines and describes the beloved and amazing human being, Mary Omwake. Wow. She set an example, didn't she? She was forever giving of herself, and she understood that in life, you get what you bring. And so I love the fact, I always loved her last name because it was so evident that it was just perfect for her. Because when you were in her vibration, in her Christ consciousness, when you were enveloped in her light, you could truly feel that vibration of the Om. You could feel that in your heart, and you would begin to open. And the fact that she had Wake, that she lived a message out loud. Talk about living the change that she wanted to see. She lived this message of the value of what it means to be awake.
You think about Mary Omwake, you think about obviously compassion, you think about love, you consider the Christ consciousness and the Christ loving ethic that she exuded with that beautiful smile and in the way that she approached everything from that particular dynamic. What we want to do on this particular day is not only celebrate her, but people of increasing faith, we never ask the question, what is the meaning of someone passing? I like to always invite people to ask the question, how can we give her life meaning rather than what is the meaning? And we think about love, compassion, and Christ. We take that meaning and we add it to our daily activity. How can I make sure that Mary is still alive within me? I'm going to act from the Christ consciousness as best as I can. I'm going to act from a sense of compassion as best as I can. I'm going to act from a sense of love as best as I can. And in that way, we not only remember her physicality, but we keep her alive energetically within our own heart, because she's alive. All of us already know that. She is alive. So we bless her in her ascension. We bless her family with a dynamic peace of mind that passes human understanding. And we bless the entire New Thought Ageless Wisdom community with a deep sense of peace, as one who was loved so deeply has now gone into the invisible realm. Have a bright day. Let's celebrate Mary.
Hello, dear friends and family of our beloved Mary Omwake. My name is Carrie Shanti Norman, and I am thinking so much of Mary since I heard the news from one of my dear friends, Karen Lindvig, Reverend Karen, that Mary had passed on. And it was such a surprise to hear the news. But such a rush of memories came forward. So many sweet memories of the times that I've had with Mary. And I have known her a long time, for about 35 years now. And she was at very significant times in my life. Early on when we were together, we met in San Diego in 1985. And I believe we met at a Course in Miracles gathering. And soon after that, we became housemates in San Diego with a couple of other women. It was a very short period of time, but very sweet and memorable. And Mary ended up becoming maid of honor at my wedding to Marshall Norman, who I'm still happily married to. And then she and Marshall ended up going to being in the same ministerial class, graduating class at Unity Village, as it turned out. And Mary then, I became pregnant with our first son, Zach, and Mary became Zach's godmother. So a lot of beautiful memories. Mary was always so very loving and supportive and such a gentle spirit, mothering, nurturing, had a zany kind of sense of humor, had an effervescent quality about her that I loved, and just a beautiful soul. And she invited me on numerous occasions to be a guest musician when she served in different ministries. And one in particular that I remember, that I would love, a song that I would love to share with you. Dr. Richard Held invited me to sing one or two songs, and immediately this one song came forward, and it's a Donovan chant, Happiness Runs. And it's a song that I remember at the Unity of Overland Park Church. We had so much fun singing this round together, all of us, and so it leapt into the forefront of a song that I would love to share to celebrate Mary's life. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Thought is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Thought is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can have everything if you let yourself be. Why, oh, because, why, oh, because, why, oh, because, why, oh, because. Sing with me if you haven't already. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Thought is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness
To those gathered in our physical sanctuary today, welcome to an event we've entitled The Legacy of Reverend Mary Omwake. To those joining us via social media, we trust you feel the warmth and sincerity of our embrace. The Reverend Mary Omwake passed beyond our sight on April 14th, 2021. And in any discussion about her legacy, we're tempted to turn to her many public accomplishments. We're tempted to turn to that which has been inscribed on plaques and awards. And of course, that's easy to do. She served as the senior leader to 3 thriving Unity ministries: Unity Church of Overland Park, Kansas, Unity Church of Maui, Hawaii, and lastly, not least, Unity in Linwood, Washington. As a founding member of the Association for Global New Thought, she and her beloved colleagues gave rise to such sweeping works as the Synthesis Dialogues with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Gandhi King Season for Non-Violence. The recipient of Unity's Light of God Expressing Award, Reverend Mary spoke at the United Nations as an advocate for children and was inducted into the Martin Luther King Jr. Board of Preachers for her commitment to social justice and peace. So absolutely, in any discussion about her legacy, we're tempted to turn to her many public accomplishments. We're tempted to turn to that which can be found on plaques and awards, and of course, that is easy to do. And yet I might suggest that her legacy won't be enlivened so much through that which has been inscribed on plaques and awards as it has been enlivened through that which has been instilled in minds and hearts. Her legacy will be enlivened through some 2,500 children, adolescent girls and gang members, another 2,500 adults in assisted living facilities, through the countless hurting souls guided to healing of mind, heart, body, through an array of would-be entrepreneurs, musicians, authors, visionaries, teachers, philanthropists, through countless teachers, leaders, ministers, students, colleagues, prayer partners, family, friends, all whose lives have somehow been elevated by her having lived. So yes, I might suggest that her legacy won't be enlivened through that which has been inscribed on plaques and awards so much as it will be enlivened through that which has been instilled in minds and hearts. Now, I arrived at Unity Church of Overland Park, Kansas. I was hired as the pianist, actually, some months before Reverend Mary Omwake. It was during the interim leadership of the Reverends Foster and Paula McClellan, 2 Unity institutions, you understand. Now, there were a few dozen people in the church. Imagine folding chairs, if you will, when this newbie minister auditioned for the senior leadership post, clinging to the lectern with her sweaty knuckles. And even so, I remember going home that day to say, well, you know what? I met this woman today who will build an empire in Overland Park, Kansas. And of course, in so many ways, she did. And through my many years with Reverend Mary Omwake, I served as that loyal piano player. And then her music director, and then her programs director, and then her administrator, and ultimately as the spiritual director at Unity in Linwood, Washington, an honor of a lifetime in so many ways. And during those years, I learned. I learned that how we hold a thing matters. From her earliest days at UCOP, she would say that the platform was a place of profound honor, and that those who held it merely as a vehicle for their professional growth or their egoic satisfaction or for their personal gain will not be invited to share it. That the dance between the platform and the community is a sacred dance and holy and powerful and must always be preserved and protected. And she did just that. And to this day, I hold that learning close. And during those years, I learned that some people will like us and some people won't. And that we will do well to remember that we are in the awakening business, not the popularity business. I remember the Sunday and in that suburban church when this courageous woman stood before the already substantial audience and said, you know what, if you can't learn to love your gay brothers and sisters, you will not be happy at Unity Church of Overland Park. And so it was that I learned that it's integrity, not popularity, that allows one to sleep at night. And to this day, I hold that learning close. And during those years, I learned that there is only one source, and that we as leaders, as students, teachers, ministers, and all manner of endeavor do well to turn to that source first. That the potential of the ministry must never be ransomed to its biggest donors, to its cleverest programs, to its grandest accomplishments, but that it must remain open at the top, always answering first to that highest that's within us as individual and collective vehicles for that which knows what it's doing. And to this day, I hold that learning close. And during those years, I learned that I can give rise to the smallest that's within me, or I can give rise to the grandest that's within me. I learned that I can encourage you to give rise to the smallest that's within you, or I can encourage you to give rise to the grandest that's within you, and that in either case, the latter choice is really quite more fun. Why, I remember when an unknown author stood on the platform at UCOP and said, hey, I have a great title for a book. Do you mind if I share it with you? It's called Chicken Soup for the Soul. I learned that her paradigm of daring greatly, if you will allow me that, positioned her as a catalyst for countless souls to realize the boldest of dreams and the grandest of possibilities. And to this day, I hold that learning close. And during those years, I learned that consciousness is everything. Find the consciousness, she would say, and train the details. Find the consciousness in your singer, for example, learning songs. That's easy. If you have a singer who can sing the notes on pitch, who can memorize the lyrics without fault, who can position their hands just so, but who has not the consciousness of ministry, meaning a consciousness of love, of honor, of connection, of service, you don't have ministry, you have performance. And to this day, I hold that learning close. And over those years, I learned that there's always a short game and that there's always a long game and that there's always a wisdom in foregoing the former for the latter. I learned that there will always be small matters and petty concerns and nagging trivialities that would have me compromise the very purpose of my seat if I would but grant them the authority to do so. But that in choosing to play the proverbial long game instead, in choosing to stay on purpose, I might say, small matters and petty concerns and nagging trivialities have a way of finding their own resolution. Don't sweat the small stuff is how it's been coined of late. And to this day, I hold that learning close. And during those years with Reverend Mary Omwake, I learned that a religion, any religion, mustn't be imagined as a cage for our containment, but as a platform for our evolution. That we honor the greatest among us, not by cowering in their shadows, but by standing upon their shoulders, not by worshiping them, but by emulating them. In her later years, Mary was fond of saying that she was an alumna of unity. She had come to grasp that hers wasn't to be limited by the noble work of those who had come before, even that of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore themselves, but to be grown beyond it. She had come to grasp that the garment of any singular identity was quite simply too tight a fit. I have to tell you, I loved that about her, and oh, to this day, I hold that learning close. And during my years with the Reverend Mary Omwake, I learned that a powerful work isn't done by those souls who are perfect. A powerful work is done by those souls who are available. In considering humanity's history, it's undeniable that our leap points were launched by flawed souls who were quite simply available. And from her earliest of days, clinging to that lectern with those sweaty knuckles before that few dozen souls in Overland Park, Kansas, through the dynamics of her public recovery, her personality quirks, her growing edges, and her inevitable challenges, Mary Omwake was available. Reverend Mary Omwake showed up. Again and again and again, Reverend Mary Omwake showed up, and to this day, I hold that learning close.
Mary saw miracles in everyday life, and she made the ordinary extraordinary with a little bit of embellishment. And she talked about rocking with the rhythm of the universe. As I reflect over the 30 years that I've known Mary, I see how she left her fingerprints all over my life. And I'm guessing she left them all over your life too. It's one of the things that we love about Mary. 30 years, what to share for this occasion. So I asked Spirit, and a memory came up from the early days, from my early days with Mary. We were at a Unity conference in Washington, D.C., with about a half dozen staff members from Unity Church of Overland Park. And Mary had gathered us together one afternoon, and she was talking about creating intentional memories. Well, I'd never heard of creating intentional memories. I thought memories were in the past and intention is something in the future. But Mary has her own way of looking at things. And I knew this was going to be good. So she announced that she'd made arrangements to create this intentional memory, and she invited us to come along. So we rented a limousine, and Mary talked to the driver, let him know what we were up to, and asked him to drive us to places that would be special and create a memory. We came near to the Lincoln Memorial. We stopped at a restaurant, got takeout sandwiches, and walked to the Lincoln Memorial. And when we got there, we went inside and we read, I think, every word, every one of Lincoln's words etched in stone. We got to the part about the angels, and Mary paused and wondered out loud, what might Lincoln have been thinking when he wrote those words, and how might they apply to us today? And the conversation went on, and soon we meandered down to the steps, sat down there, looking out over the reflecting pond, had our picnic, and continued the conversation. That day, Mary included each of us in creating an intentional memory. But it gets better, because not only did we have the experience, but now we knew how to create those memories for the rest of our lives, and to do it for ourselves and for the people around us. And some of them would take that idea and pass it along. There's this big, giant ripple effect. And I think the reason Spirit showed me this memory is because it's how Mary taught. She made new ideas intriguing and accessible, something we wanted to share, that created community. And I watched that happen over and over and over again. And she kept everything fresh and alive and fun. Gotta have fun and sacred. Mary shared her love of God and that great big heart of hers in oh so many ways, and touched so many people's lives. I am honored and blessed to be a part of Mary's legacy. And I believe you're a part of that legacy too. So Mary, wherever you are, whatever you're up to, from my heart to yours, I'm so grateful to have your fingerprints all over my life.
Aloha from Oahu. My name is Deirdre Aragon, and I am very humbled to be speaking about my 30-year relationship with Mary Omwake. I came into Mary's life, or she came into mine, in February of 1991, a little before then, because she was our brand new young minister at Unity Church of Overland Park in Overland Park, Kansas. I was just 10 years old at the time. I had become very ill. I was in a coma for 6 days and had no brain function, needed a respirator, whole 9 yards, level 4 coma. Being the minister at the time, my family reached out to Mary, and one of my family members had called her very late one night asking if she would come to the hospital to provide support. She was tired. It had been raining all day. I think there was a problem with her car. She just wasn't up for it. She wanted to sleep. She wanted to come the next day in the morning, and then she'd be there. And my family member was quite persistent and got to the point where he was offering to pay her cash to come that night, which of course Mary then felt badly about. So she got back in her car and drove to the University of Kansas Medical Center, which is where I was. And on the way there, she was amping herself up to meet this family that would be devastated that their child was dying in the next room, and just preparing to take that on, to hold the space for this family. When she arrived, she was quite surprised to find something very, very different. By that point, a large prayer network had been set up on my behalf. I, of course, don't remember these details, but they have been written down in other places and told through other people that do remember. So Mary didn't run into this sad family that had been devastated. Yes, everyone was upset. Of course, that's normal. But the focus was on healing me through the power of prayer and making sure that I came back fully recovered. Mary was a part of that. The experiences she had in regards to my healing really shaped her ministry and her life after that. It's not something I really ever talk about, and whenever Mary and I would meet up, usually at a conference, she would take me by the arm and she would introduce me to people as her first miracle. For those of you that know Mary Omwake, that's quite a lot. It's a lot to live up to. It's a lot to have in your life. And now that I'm older and with children of my own, of course, I'm deeply humbled by it. But I was that little girl that got very sick, whose parents were congregation members of Unity Church of Overland Park, back when we were in the old small building, before the, 2 or 3 expansions, back when we had just the folding chairs and you generally have 40 to 60 people on a Sunday morning for service, all the way through the new building and Mary's ministry and what she had moved on to do in her life and the people she has touched and those of us that have touched her. And I think, or I know that that's what she would want us to remember. Not just how she was to us in our lives, but to know that we meant so much to her as well. I am her first miracle, but there are so many more that followed, and she remembered each and every single one of us, and she was grateful and thankful every single day, and she continues to do miraculous work on the other side when she's had her rest, of course. But her amazing spirit lives on through us, through the Unity movement, through her work. And it is such an honor to be able to carry that forward. Thank you so much. Mahalo.
I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. One peaceful world. There is a voice within our hearts, asking each of us to see, and you and I can make a choice to bring the earth to harmony, to help each other to be free. I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. One peaceful world. When we decide it's time for peace, only The courage lives in everyone to bring the garden back again. And life will guide us like a friend. We only harvest what we sow. And every seed of love will grow. I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. I realize that I am here to help create one peaceful world. One peaceful world.
It's been written that the wise collaborate with nature, for she is the most powerful of allies, while it's the unwise who challenge nature, for she is the most unyielding of foes. And nature demonstrates that we are not the owners of our earthly relationships. Nature demonstrates that we are at best the caretakers of our earthly relationships. When we believe that we are the entitled owners of our spouses, our parents, even our children, we challenge nature. But when we come to understand that we are the honorary caretakers of our friends, of our colleagues, of our siblings, we collaborate with nature. And in this humility, we necessarily acknowledge the privilege of sharing a path with another, however brief that sharing might be. So inasmuch as we have been privileged to share a portion of our paths with Mary, let us be reminded that we are privileged to share a path with the individual who sits to our left today, with the individual who sits to our right. And as much as we've been privileged to share a path with Mary, let this right remind each of us that we are privileged to share a path with those in this room, in your room, with our families, with our chosen families, even with those who are yet to come. I've chosen to share a meditation recorded by Reverend Mary Omwake with you today. I'll introduce that by asking you to give welcome to the words of Reverend Mary's poem. It's entitled Child of Light. Take a deep breath with me. It reads as follows: Child of God, I think of you. I pray with you, not for what I think you're supposed to do or be, but I lift my thoughts about you. I see you as God sees you. I see you filled with light and love, happiness. I see you making wise and good decisions. I see you enjoying everything that's good in your life. I see you living in the consciousness of more than enough. I see you healthy. I see you strong. I see you doing work you love. Every good and noble dream in your heart is being realized.
And so as we close the outer eyes, we open to the wonder and the grandeur of what is always, always present. A grace that is sufficient. A love that knows no other. A wisdom that shines through us in every now moment. And so we just relax into the gift that has already been given. Created in the image and likeness of the infinite. There's nothing missing and there's nothing broken. There's just a remembering of what is always, already present. And so if you have not already turned your attention into your heart, I just invite you to begin to breathe more fully, more deeply into the awareness that love has created you and called you by name. And nothing you've ever made up and no mistake you've ever made has done anything to prevent the infinite good that calls you and remembers you, created you as its instrument, and provides you everything you'll ever need. And so as you breathe into your heart, if you have not begun to intentionally and consciously love everyone who shares this sacred space with you, I invite you to consciously, intentionally now to just ask the Holy Spirit, let the love that created me, the love I am, flow from me and enfold the people to my left and the people to my right. Let it flow behind me and in front of me until the entire field is amplified with God itself, with the awareness of what is always already so. And because you can, I invite you to amplify that unconditioned love at least tenfold. And so your body is vibrating with unconditioned love. You're receiving it from those around you. You're sending it out until this becomes a field of pure potentiality. That which divides us suddenly brings us together. That once separated, we suddenly see the diversity and celebrate the uniqueness of this great American dream unfolding before us. And because we can. And because you are the instrument of the all good, I invite you to join me and amplify the love you are to extend all the way around the world to those beautiful children that Reverend Aaron mentioned earlier, that this very moment are hungry. To those people in pain and suffering in war zones, that they know help is on the way. Right now, right here, we join the world in prayer, knowing that thy grace is sufficient, that thy light is already here. And if there's anything that blocks that in you, any opinion, any seeming fact, any upset, any disturbance, any self-righteous judgment, this would be your moment to let it go, to just give it up, to cast it onto the Christ, and allow yourself once again to become the instrument of the all good, right here and right now. And so with every block to the awareness of love's presence swiftly and completely removed, Let us enter the silence where Myrtle Fillmore said, the very presence of the divine is revealed. Here, in the silence, we experience the very presence of the infinite, all that God is. And here, in the silence, we discern precisely and exactly how we are to go about living the life we've been given. So join me as we take a breath, feel the love, and enter into the deep wisdom of a universe that's always working on our behalf, where everything is possible. In the silence, we are healed and we remember we are whole.
You have gone, and a part of us goes with you. You have gone, but a part of you remains in our hearts. We will always cherish the memories of the life and love we shared. Fare thee well, dear friend and sister. May your spirit fly so free. A new adventure awaits you. Fare thee well and go in peace. You have gone, and we'll miss your earthly presence. You have gone, but your spirit lives on throughout time. May you dance and sing with the angels and rest in the arms of God. Fare thee well, dear friend as you grow into a new beginning. May you know great love and joy. Fare thee well, dear friend and sister. May your spirit fly so free. A new adventure awaits you. Fare thee well and go in peace. Fare thee well and go in peace.
Oh, Mary, we've had some good times. We've had some laughs. We've had a lot of joy, just a lot of joy. I remember the time I came to see you in Maui and just all the experiences that you shared with me and all the places you took me, all the things we saw. I saw your love of the islands. I saw it through your eyes. And back when you were minister here in Overland Park, all the times that I spoke for you and just had an opportunity to be with you and talk to you and at conferences, the time we spent together. You will be missed, my sister. You will be missed. But know, my dear sweet Mary, you made this a better place by virtue of your presence. Thank you for blessing my life, enriching my life, and in many ways being a teacher and a support for me. God bless you, Mary. Enjoy the ride. I know you will. I love you, girl.
Dearest Mary, thank you for lighting up my life all these many years. From our first meeting when you were in Overland Park to the happy times we had after that. Thank you for your warm smile, always smiling. Thank you for always taking the high road. Thank you for being a very loyal and beloved friend. God bless, from Sharon.
I recognize her as a profound colleague. I see her in so many ways as, especially in those beginning days, as a leader, as an empowered leader, as a trailblazer, and all the things that she brought to the Association of Global New Thought. Wow, endless and countless blessings. And what I know for sure is that we will continue to keep her memory alive, and we will draw from the experiences, and we will remember the value of what it means to bring to life what we're seeking and to give it fully. Thank you, beloved Mary, for your service, for your love, and your sacredness. And so it is.
Hi there, this is Carl Anthony, and this is for my dear friend, Mother Mary, as I like to call her. I was thinking of the perfect song that I could share with you and everyone who loves Mary. And this is the one that I thought would just be perfect. And it's real simple. It goes, angel, angel, you are an angel. I see an angel in your eyes. If you want to do it with me, let's do it together. Angel, angel, you are an angel. I see an angel in your eyes. I love you, Mary. Thanks for all the beautiful gifts that you gave so many. And this is in honor of you. Bye-bye.